Welcome to the live stream. We are broadcasting live on the tubes and on Rumble. Thank you for joining us this fine evening. And it's kind of hot and humid today.
It is.
It's a nice
Yeah.
little reprieve being here in the studio. But we got a lot of work done today.
Yeah, quite a bit of work done.
But we wanted to talk about the border crisis. So
Yes.
it's troubling. It's disturbing. My governor is kind of infuriating, and he's really annoying. All this partisan talk about the border, when Texas has the resources and has the people, and it's as a citizen of Texas, it is annoying. And
yeah, we just wanted to sit down and talk about it and go over some different things,
some data
and some interesting things.
Yeah, some really interesting things. So let me share with y'all.
Some
Actually, you know what?
chicanery.
The first thing I want to share with you,
The
the first thing I want to share with you
that one.
is the border crisis. This is from Governor Greg. Okay, so one of their strategies is border transportation funding. This is the most imbecilic partisan hack. So folks have donated $415,000 to impregnate our country with illegals by busing them deeper into the country. That is the most retarded concept.
That's crazy.
And it's the most partisan hack trash. And, that's Greg. I'm sure Greg's going to be spewing gun control after a while. It is absurd and obscene. And, the Texas National Guard should be on the border. They have raised $55 million for the border wall, so hopefully that actually goes in. And then border security, check this out, $100,000. So with this hack partisan stupid idea, we raised $400,000. For actual border security, we raised $100,000. So that's absurd and obscene. And I really don't like Greg Abbott much at all. Oh yeah, is he better than the next retard in line? Maybe, but I mean, he's definitely feels which way the wind's blowing, and he makes his decisions as such. And he's definitely he definitely likes the World Economic Forum. So
yeah,
while securing the border is the federal government's responsibility, Texas will not sit idly by as this crisis grows. Texas is responding with the most robust and comprehensive border plan the nation has ever seen. But it's always President Biden's open border policies have led to humanitarian crisis. It's always blame.
Pass the buck every time.
Yeah, and it's just stupid. We have the ability, we have the resources, and we just need to do it. And it's absurd to just, keep playing the partisan thing. Okay, well,
you're the governor of Texas.
It's just stupid. It's,
like, come on, man.
It's political shenanigans is all it is. So we'll switch gears a little bit. Will there be a video about Texas belt buckles? I doubt it. I don't know. Will there be a video about Texas belt buckles?
Possibly.
Pete, what's up, buddy? Treason, the Biden regime coordinating with Mexican government to really facilitate mass illegal migration invasion. Initially, it was thought that Joe Biden's open border policies were bad enough in contributing to a record number of migrants crossing into the U.S. illegally during his term thus far, but it turns out there's much more to it. In fact, according to a revealing report published this week, the Biden regime has actually been coordinating with the Mexican government to send migrants over into the U.S. by the tens of thousands. In recent days, large crowds of migrants have formed at the Mexican side of the Rio Grande, fully prepared to swim over well-worn crossing spots to Brownsville. Now, where we were on the Rio Grande, they could have easily been perpetually swimming. If you go down there by Muskerdoodle's spaceships. We're going to Mars with cutting edge technology. Look at this, y'all. It's called a rocket ship. Wow, we're going to go back to the moon someday, maybe 50 years from now. It's going to be great. We got to give people hope. Speaking of Elon Musk, he just appointed a new CEO to Twitter. It's pretty exciting. She's an ultra woke libtard that's highly touted by the WEF and goes to Davos every time they loiter. So yeah, it's real exciting. Free speech. It's feeling real free speech over there at Twitter in the Twitterverse. We're going to be covering an Alex Berenson piece about the Twitter files and about how like awesome Elon Musker doodle is. But don't worry, we're going to Mars. Once I spend all these gub bucks and make all my money through Operation Blackjack and all that stuff. Yeah, it's cool. What a joke. Anybody that thinks that Elon Musk is evenly remotely for free speech is deluded at best. He's a government cutout, and it's incredible. Okay, so let's see here. Rio Grande fully paid over. Okay. But seemingly held back by unarmed Mexican immigration officials, the Center for Immigration Studies said in its report. Over the course of several days recently on the Mexican side, a noticeable pattern emerged as approximately 3,000 immigrants per day crossed over to Brownsville without encountering opposition from either side. An intriguing sequence of events unfolded when signaled by Mexican immigration officers. A specific group of around 100 to 150 individuals from the larger crowd would simultaneously rise and swiftly make their way down the riverbank, bypassing the immigration officers and swimming across to reach America. CIS's report said upon investigation, it became apparent that this observed pattern was not a mere coincidence. The Center for Immigration Studies took the initiative to inquire with various Mexican immigration officers about the situation. Through their inquiries, they discovered that the Department of Homeland Security under President Joe Bob has been coordinating these large-scale swims on a collaboration with Mexico's Immigration Service, INM. These coordinated efforts were carried out at senior levels using an encrypted WhatsApp channel, CIS noted. According to the accounts provided by the officers, their superiors were in communication with officials from U.S. Customs and Border Protection. The exchanges involved updates on the number of immigrants gathered and ready to cross the river at any specific moment. The coordination aimed to facilitate the smooth crossing of immigrants into the United States. We're letting them know that there's groups of people ready to cross, one officer said. The report added the Americans on the other side would ask the Mexicans to hold back the migrants, not because such crossings are illegal and should be blocked and obstructed, but only until the Americans had finished processing the last batch into the country through Brownsville. Once the Americans felt that they could take in more, they messaged the Mexicans that they are ready to receive them. Then senior officials would radio the on-ground immigration officers, all of whom are equipped with radios. Next, the officers signal to the waiting crowd to go forward, and once they figure enough are in the water, they cut off the rest and push to the control them back into line until the Americans signal they're ready again. The Mexican officer said that the U.S. initiated the system beginning in late April. However, the exact reasons behind the initiation could only be speculated upon, with one possibility being the need to improve the management of the substantial surge in border crossings. Nevertheless, the collaboration sheds light on the presence of the Mexican immigration officers stationed at the river, raising numerous inquiries and prompting further investigation. The process, which has never been publicized, amounts to a controlled flow system. Yeah, so what they do is they control the flow, and then Greg scoops them up and puts them in a chartered bus and ships them up to New York. I mean, yeah, it's really great. It almost sounds like it's two wings of the same foul bird and they're working in concert, but it's in the name of partisan politics, and the world will show them by, ultra dumb. But these are the people that are selected to fix the problems, and they couldn't change a light bulb. But here we go. Sleepy Joe heads to the beach as the border crisis explodes. So
There you
So
go.
the walking diaper puppet is riding his bicycle with yoga pants on, I believe, according to the picture.
Mm,
And Joe Biden is with his those are his prosthetic robotic legs that are attached to the puppet head with the synthetic skin.
mm.
Joe
It's
Biden is
probably
headed
just one big hologram.
to his Rehoboth Beach compound for the weekend as the border crisis explodes. Joe Biden,
Must be nice.
Title 42. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Joe. Let us look at your dental implant. Smile for us. Yeah. Title 42 has expired Friday. Who was that? There was also that other 98-year-old.
Mm.
They had to wheel her in. She's like on death's door.
What?
One of our forever politics.
Living lizards?
Yeah, living legendary lizards, like 90
They
some
keep
years
them on
old.
a heat rock
They had to
and they
like
feed them bugs.
had to
It's
wheel her in a wheelchair. Like these
incredible.
people like refuse to concede their power. It's so unreal. And they can be like ancient, you
Yeah.
know.
It's like Days of Noah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The border crisis is out of control, and Joe Bob doesn't have a care in the world. He will be spending the weekend in the Northeast, far, far away from the U.S.-Mexico border. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre on Friday announced Joe Biden will be delivering commencement speech at Howard University on Saturday. Can you imagine? Yeah, he's going to give a speech, like a
That's going to
15-word
be
speech,
awesome.
while he's
I
like
can't
all
wait.
jacked up on Adderall. Like, why would you ask that guy to give a speech? I'll bet money that he does not give a speech. Meanwhile, the Department of Homeland Security is forcing officers to work all weekend to deal with the influx of illegal aliens. So this comes from Fox News. Now and forever spelled FAUX. President Joe Bob will spend the weekend at his beach home. We've already said that. The announcement comes after DHS is forcing asylum workers to work through the weekend. A DHS memo sent Friday morning by the Associate Director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, Refugee Asylum, and International Operations, and seen by Fox News Digital, says that employees have been informed Thursday of the need for them to work at least one day this weekend. Well, that's more than they've worked in the last probably 2 or 3 years because they're government employees. And do government employees ever really work anyway? Oh, boo-hoo, you have to work over the weekend. Like, do they ever even really work? They usually just lay in this public trough sideways and suck up the gov buck. So I don't feel bad for like government employees that have to work the weekend, because if you want to call it work. But developments emerging over the course of the day made clear that more resources are needed, and we must take immediate steps to increase the number of staff available on both Saturday and Sunday to meet the need. In order to ensure full operation readiness, I must now ask that all Asylum Division employees, with limited exception, work both Saturday and Sunday this weekend. Like, that would even put a dent in it, which is kind of funny. But
So with all these people crossing over, like what do you think's going to be happening?
well, what's going to be happening is the same thing that's been happening. You know, it's just an invasion. I'm not worried about like just normal working folks that want a better life. I'm worried about all the other planted and MS-13 and all these other military aged basically combatants.
Like you mean like where they smuggle drugs and
Well, there's a lot
like
of
all that type of stuff
drug
too?
activity,
Drugs and
but
different
the
things.
CIA still exists, so I'm not.
Mhm.
If I'm going to worry about drugs, I'd want to abolish the CIA. But I'm more worried about them just letting every cretin and every like prison escapee from Interpol into the country, just to, they just send in a bunch of degenerates to just undermine the country.
Somebody was saying that over 1 million people crossed the border last night. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I was looking for any current statistics.
those people, those 1 million people are going to be on foot. Like we've been down there, it's like barren wasteland. So I guess they're going to be walking. up?
Yeah, but they're more towards
Or
they're not really where we were at. They're more towards like
oh no, that would be more
yeah,
to
Brownsville.
the
Yeah, there's certain cluster
yeah.
areas where they cross because it's all kind of being staged. And that's
Yeah.
what's kind of frustrating. And I do realize that the federal government is interfering with the different things that Texas is doing and trying to do, but there are also ways around that, and there are ways to supersede that, and at least at a minimum just be putting forth max effort even though you're being restrained by the feds pulling all the strings. There's, most of what's going on is like name calling and finger pointing, and it's crazy. It's just it's absurd, and it's just it's not leadership. It's not like, look, they're not going to do anything, so we're going to do it. Get out of our way. And if we have to, we'll just.
Wes said Greg Abbott has a bio on the WEF website as well as been to Davos. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, and it was either Luke Radowski or Cassidy Campbell, or it might have been Alex Stein that approached Greg Abbott
Oh
and
yeah, I remember
recorded
that.
it and said, "Do you denounce WEF?" And Greg purposefully didn't answer and like skated all around it. And
Mm-hmm.
Greg is super slime, dude. I've never been impressed with Greg.
Sadly.
Yeah, but that's what you got to be a slime ball to get to those levels. It's no different than CIA DeSantis. It's a big club. We're not in it, y'all. So that's why we work independently and autonomously and attempt to prepare a parallel society, parallel economy. Speaking of parallel society, parallel economies, we hope that you might even be joining some of the Texas boys at the Exit and Build Land Summit in Bastrop next week.
Can you drop the link for him?
Let me drop the link for you. Where am I going? So I'm going to have to go into the.
We're going to do this live, so.
We'll do it live. I might be able to go right in here. Let's see if it'll take me to the right spot. It takes me to the right video, but it won't matter. I can always click over.
The humidity is getting to my voice, man.
Yeah, it's like humid.
It's
today,
like hard
y'all.
for me to like talk.
He can't even talk, y'all. It was thick today,
It's
y'all.
thick. Yeah.
So I'm gonna drop the exit and build. There we go. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. Put this over here. And I just talked to my buddy Chuck Lurante, and they're going to be down there at the exit build.
Oh, really?
So
awesome.
I think we're going to be having dinner with Chuck one night. So I'm very much looking forward to meeting them. And we would be doing lots of talks there. No, yeah, we'll be there. We definitely wanted to meet. I emailed Curtis Stone, so we're looking forward to getting this sync up with Curtis Stone. Jack Spearco's there. A bunch of really awesome. Greg Lawton's going to be there virtually for 2 hours doing a Q&A. Boca Raton. The other thing that I really despise about the conservatives in Texas is all the anti, you can't, you must support Israel. Like if you want a government contract, it's so terrible, y'all. It's like crazy. And what does that have to do? What does peanut butter have to do with French fries? I have no idea, but it is insane. But okay. Oh, Rumble's on here. Oh, and we should check our Rumble chat too. Do we have our Rumble chat open?
No, we don't.
Okay, I'm going to check our Rumble chat, y'all, just so I don't want to be missing anybody over there. Oh, everybody's on Elon for his appointee as CEO, which is terrible. It is a terrible, terrible. It's definitely a virtue signal about who is doing what.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. There's nobody in the Rumble chat. Thanks for watching on Rumble. Appreciate y'all over there. Let's see, what's this say? Okay, my Mustang says, working at my courthouse and somebody dropped 16 porta potties just now in the parking lot blocking entry to park. Weird. Maybe it's downtown for the incoming busloads of migrants. That is a possibility. Dropping the porta potties, putting in the infrastructure. You were wrong about Greg. Yeah, Greg's a tool. Greg's always been like quasi soft on guns. And yes, Greg Abbott is a Bush crony. He's a wolf in a wheelchair. I like it. Bragging about concertina wire the league has went through like a knife through hot butter. Yeah. Greg's a loser. Thanks,
Sadly.
Greg.
Sadly.
But that's why we keep doing what we're doing and trying to be autonomous and come up with our own solutions. And that's why I appreciate John Bush and what they're doing at the Exit and Build Land Summit. There's a lot of really intelligent, cool people involved, and they're trying to come up with solutions instead of just voting harder and waiting and standing around. Like, okay, well, let's instead of trying to work through the system, the thing that you don't understand, politics is complicated. That's complicated. That's politics. That's politics. Oh, that's what gross overtaxing and gross overspending and waste. Is that what it is? It's like the waste that the 66 million that was spent at the border, and this was under Trump for one tent that housed 26 people. And it was a $66 million pork barrel boondoggle. That was under the Trumpster. That was under the Trumpinator. It was terrific and tremendous. I think the tent was made in China, but it was tremendous. And only the brightest and strongest minds. But that's our only hope is Trump. We need Trump and the hopium. He's our last hope. Dude, that guy could be dead before. That guy could literally die of natural causes before the election. All these ancient lifer swamp suckers.
But the thing is, though, that I'm really scared about, though, is
What are you
that
scared
if you
about,
get
Matt?
if you get some like new gen, like 30-year-old or something.
Oh, I don't
in
want
there,
any of them.
you know.
I just.
So would you rather have like an old Trumper or like some flamer or a woman?
Well, I would not want to have any woman, period, regardless of how conservative she is, because women need to be doing more important things, certainly than politics. They got to raise and
Baking
rear the next
cookies.
generation.
Yeah.
Well, raising and rearing and
That
training
too.
the next generation and caring about what a family is and what a family and function is, not out, I gotta politically save the world, like that chick from Alaska that had her poor disabled kid and she left that kid in like daycare pale, and I can see Russia from over here. Yeah, I can see Russia from my front porch, whatever. It's just
What?
politics is so sad and disturbing. It's just, and unfortunately it dramatically impacts our lives and they're taxing us to death. But I digress. Please join us at the Exit and Build Land Summit next week. The more we touch on these like insane topics, it's just more verification and validation that we really, if we're going to focus any effort and attention. And look, hey, y'all, look, we're Christians, and I read the end of the book, and I know how this ends. Now, this may be ending sooner rather than later. This may be ending in the next 10 years. And like when I say ending, I mean like revelation and all that stuff. Or it may be ending 1,000 years from now. Okay. Because like when the Waldenses were being slaughtered by the Catholics and all that stuff, and they called the Pope the Antichrist, and they were accurate, right? But I'm sure that they thought, look, this is revelation. It's being fulfilled, right? And how many hundreds of years ago was that? So, while I can see all the crazy DNA stuff and Days of Noah and all that stuff, I am not going to presume that this whole dog and pony show is going to be getting wrapped up. And I do know who wins. I do know who wins, you all. And, so I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned in a holistic way. I am just concerned if like this thing drags out for 100 or a couple hundred years. I have a family, I have children, I have posterity, and we plan for the worst, we hope for the best. And no one knows what it's going to be like 10 years from now. And, I'm not going to presume any of that. But, we're going to plan and march forward with what we can do and what we can control. And we're going to give God all the praise and the honor and glory for all the blessings that we have and all the blessings we're going to have in the future. And, but at the same time, there's a lot of these people like, well, Jesus is coming back. And they're buying into this whole tribulation thing. And we're going to get the Willy Wonka ticket and the most, the most Christian backslidden, like pagan Christianized, like generation is going to get some like magical avoid tribulation, even though like all the apostles were martyred and the Waldenses were slaughtered. But somehow 2025, that generation, oh, well, they're going to get snatched out of here. And everybody's going to be looking up like, where did they go? They got abducted by aliens. I mean, that's just, it's
I
not.
wish that would happen though.
Yeah.
That would
And
be so great.
hey, I'm all. I hope the pre-trippers are right, man. I'm ready, and that'll be cool, and it'll be like an extra bonus.
That would be awesome.
It'll be very Willy Wonka.
It's like getting real bad, and then you're just like,
I don't
sucked up.
I don't have to prepare anything, and I'm going to leave all these Bibles and tracts for people. Yeah, you've been watching too many Tim LaHaye movies. That multi-millionaire that made the bogus, completely and terribly unbiblical Left Behind books and movies and all that stuff. I mean, even Kirk Cameron's come out and said that like that's a hoax, man. The whole pre-trib thing. But I'm just saying. But that's why we plan. That's why we prepare. And that's why we talk about this stuff, and we're not of the night, that we should be overtaken like a thief in the night. They literally made a movie called Thief in the Night, y'all. And it was supposed to be a Christian movie. And if you read the scripture in context and you read through the chapter, it says, like a thief in the night, but we're not. Oh, somebody's gonna dox me for like doing Illuminati hand signs. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to signal the Illuminati Brotherhood like Greg Abbott and the rest of the crew, like with my hand signals.
Oh man.
I wasn't trying to make the Illuminati triangle. But we're here, y'all. We're here. And the white hats aren't coming to save us either, and they're not going to like write off all of our debt and come out with a new gold Trump coin.
Elon Musk did dress up as Satan for Halloween.
Super, yeah, with like inverted ram's head. And yeah, Elon Musk is a stinking devil. He's a devil, y'all. I'm just saying. And Twitter is not a place where free speech is.
What's the hand sign?
Well, I was just going like this, and I inadvertently like cocked my hands. And, there's all these like truth or weirdos on YouTube that are like, Texas stat exposed, Illuminati blood sacrifice, something like that.
Trump loves those hand signs.
Most of the time, y'all, though, honest engine. Like, I realize there is something to that. I'm not going to deny the fact with the hidden hand and the claw of the Iron Bear and all this stuff. But so much of that, like, just like me, like, I was just like sitting here like this and, oh, he's making the same gangs. No, it's really, honestly, it's not.
Yeah, because sometimes I find myself doing that. And
of course, yeah.
I'm like,
that's why I think it's,
people would probably take
yeah, that's why I think it's retarded when some of these guys, they go full conspiratard and they're just like, pointing out stuff that ain't there. Not saying that some guys don't do that, but most people don't. Fortunately and unfortunately. Thought Brennan was Q. Who, John Brennan? We must stop the buses. The government is rounding them up so they can put them in the bus instead of returning them. Yeah, I know. And Greg's putting them in the bus and paying for the bus and shipping them up to New York. It's nuts. It's crazy. The Texas Nationalist. Yeah, we got if she's willing to come on, a lady by the name of Susan Miller contacted us. I did read your email, Susan, if you're listening. And she's doing some cool stuff with some Texas organizations. And I'd like to have her on just to get the information out there. So I'll try to line that up.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, I would like to line that up. So in our spare free time, we're gonna but I hope you all been liking the channels and the interviews. I really had a great time at Chris's house, and we made some videos. And Chris and his family are good peoples, and we're really glad to know them. And they're just over the border, not the
Hmm.
southern border, over the Louisiana border. And that was great getting to hang out with. Whew, here, let me have a sip of your lemonade. Is this lemonade? What is this?
Yeah, it's lemonade.
Oh, that's better.
I know.
Wow, something was getting me. The dust was getting me.
Oh, also, real quick, I think we're going to be making some changes to the YouTube channel a little bit this week, hopefully, if we don't get too tied up. But we wanted to start integrating maybe like Prepper Tuesday and like
Food
Food
Forest
Forest
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, yeah.
So just so then y'all have some more dedicated days, so then y'all know what to do. And then the Prepper Tuesday would be videos all about prepping, and it would actually have mom in them. So
Oh
or
boy.
Faith, my mother.
Mhm.
So
Faith, his mother.
Faith, my mother.
So let us know what y'all think about that. I think it's a good idea just to have like a little bit of schedule and keeping it mixed up.
Yep.
I really despise the fact that the algo or whoever, Satan or whatever, wants to pigeonhole you into this like tiny little niche.
I
You
know.
know, it's so annoying. It doesn't make any sense, and I just refuse to comply with it.
Also, if you haven't already, I actually made a homestead update video and I posted it like 2 days ago.
Mhm.
And it was really good. I just went around the farm showing everybody, showing y'all what we've been up
What's
to.
been
So
going on?
yeah. So
Are you going to show them the gate?
yeah. Yeah. That'll be on the next video. Yeah.
And did you lose all of the sawmill footage?
Pretty sure I actually did, sadly.
So he would have had a really cool you know, it's wild. When I was at Chris's house, me, Chris, and Bud had a great talk out on the dock, and we're sitting out there. And when the sun would come out, it would get really hot. And then when the clouds would, and it was so we did like this 45 or 49-minute video. And then Chris goes back to the phone and he's looking at it. He's like, there's only 20 minutes on here. It's like, dude. But the phone overheated when the sun came out and turned off. And like, if y'all, so then, okay, so we do that. So then we have to reshoot that video inside. Well, I brought the GoPro and I had it fully charged and all that stuff. And I get it all set up, spun out. I had it set up on Chris's anvil, and we were going to make the welding skills video, talking about skills and hard skills and all that stuff. And I go to hit record and it turns black and freezes. It's like, you got to be kidding me, man. Because when I left the house that morning, I forgot the GoPro and I was almost to my office and I turned around and killed an extra hour of my day to come back and get that idiotic GoPro. And then I drove to Louisiana and I had it with me. And then at the very last split second, it flaked and froze and turned to trash. So then we had to record the video on Chris's camera on his phone. And then we both have iPhones. He tried to airdrop to me, wouldn't airdrop. And then we tried uploading it to Google Drive, and it just looked like days. And technology and YouTube and filming, it is like, if people knew the complications with it and the headaches
You would not want it
and the
implanted
struggle.
in your head right now.
Yeah.
Wait another like 100 years, because it's still like you kind of think it's like
I never want it
advanced
implanted in my head even
ever,
100 years from
but
now. Matthew.
I'm just saying, I'm like, you really don't want it right now.
Yeah. I never want it, Matthew.
No, I don't ever want it.
Thank you. Thank you for making your father feel better.
There you go.
Don't want to think you're like Mr. B.
He can have it first, though.
Yeah.
I would love.
Gladly. I would
love
to
for him and Elon.
I would like for him to get the Neuralink, and then we could put him in like a plexiglass box and observe him.
Oh man.
Yo, Texas Ted's. Oh yeah. And this is absolutely true too.
What is?
Texas Ted said, I patrolled the border and provided safety for some ranchers in 12. The same thing was happening then as now. And yeah, this whole border thing has been going on since the beginning of, the postmodern deconstructionism. This is all part of it. This is just one piece of the puzzle of the what was the Saul Alinsky thing, but everybody's saying happy Mother's Day to Faith, so we'll have to let her know. Oh yeah, Musk is just a cutout. We have some new t-shirt designs on the site, so definitely check out the merch. We've ordered them, but we just haven't gotten them in yet. So we need to have a civil war in the country. You have no concept of what that even means. So
No.
I would disagree. You have no concept of read a book about the last civil war.
We actually get a lot of these comments, and a lot of them are bots, and they're trying to like
rules for radicals. That's right.
The thing is,
but yeah, we need a civil war.
If you would do any, like the tiniest bit of research on how disgusting and terrible the last civil war was.
Well, and the thing is it wouldn't, the last civil war was the premise was an abomination, and it's not about anything that you were even taught in government.
It's like the direct opposite of that.
Yeah. And, this one's going to be the military that all the conservatives are like, oh, proud being American. Yeah, thank you.
They never talk about.
Thank you for your service. Yeah.
They never talk about these Northerners that came down here while, the men,
the J-leggers,
and the red leggers, and the boys were out there. The young men were out there fighting for their land. And, they had these scummy government Northerners come on down, and then they would either at gunpoint or they would drop them down the well. Normally the wives were home, and my neighbor was telling me that awful stories of so many women and children and all types of terrible stuff that they would do to them, just to sign that paper off to them, to give them their property, and all types of wicked stuff they did.
Yeah, Civil War was crazy. Carpetbaggers, redleggers, jayhawkers, and they were psycho crazy. And Abraham Lincoln was an ultra mega scumbag,
sadly,
totalitarian fascist, and he created a more perfect
union.
And that's when the Constitution got smoked, y'all.
Yeah, and a lot of these like outlaws that we hear about.
Oh, and you know what else? Too, what else happened then? That's when the Republican Party. That's when the Republican Party came into power.
Yeah.
So there you go. We stopped slavery. See you demon craps. We stopped slavery. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Look how we are so all inclusive now.
That's right.
We are totally not divided as a nation right now. I'll tell y'all what.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If there's any, they, them, and those and the social planners want a civil war. That's why they're doing it. Why do you think that they show you all of this stuff, that the PDF files and all of these district of criminals? Why do you think they're showing you everything they're doing in plain sight? It's to create and foment outrage. And then also what it does is you're like, wait a minute, the people that make and enforce the rules don't follow the rules, then why should I, right? So when you have these outliers in societies with much lower IQs and a very poor upbringing, right? They're going to be like, oh, I'll go ransack the Kmart and steal all the stuff before I go to the propaganda camp. Because, why do you think this stuff is happening? Why do you think the fabric of society is coming unraveled? It's because they're doing all this stuff, and then they televise it and then amplify it. And it's to create the schism and the rip in society, right? So that everybody does whatever they want, Mark, the replacement of the workforce, they're going to roboticize everything and autonomize it and automate everything. They have no intention of any workforce. They want us all to be sitting home UBI. They're not facilitating this invasion for the sake of workers. They are not. It's, it's going to be automation nation, fourth industrial revolution. It's going to be UBI, and it's going to be extract and extract. They're not doing this for labor. They are not doing this for labor. Destroy the machines. Yeah. And, one really, I think with the stack 'em, pack 'em, track 'em, they're already controlling large portions of society and will when they, with the 15, so many people are going to comply with the 15-minute cities because they already like it. I could never get over, like, there's still people out here like, oh, we're going to Dallas. Oh, it's so much fun. We like going to Dallas and visiting. Like, I get like agina and anxiety. I get a rash like when I have to go to Dallas. Any densely
Well, it's like
populated.
going to Babylon.
Yeah,
it's like entering hell.
Yeah, they got
like,
those
literally
gigantic
hell on earth.
towers, monuments, and man, those Babylonian structures that are just like middle fingers to God. That's all that is.
Pretty
It's
much
all phallic stuff. It's just and like, oh, I just love the traffic and the congestion. I love all the concrete. I love the smell of urine and feces. It's really, and I love watching the homeless people beg for money. It's just so cool. And there's always something happening. Like there's always like a mugging or a rape going on or something to watch, There's
active
lots of
shooter.
entertainment. All of my sports balls are there, So when I go to my sports balls and I can buy a Bud Light when I watch my sports balls, and I just want to relax and be distracted.
I might get shot
while I watch
times,
my sports balls,
but it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's just like I have no interest in being anywhere near any of those places, participating, and those people are going to be like, "Oh, this is so cool! Yeah, this is why I came to the city because of the city life and the active and all."
Which is good. Please stay there.
Yeah,
we do not want any of y'all moving out here.
Yeah.
Oh man. If you love it, we are not tempting you to move.
Rubio said, I think they just opened it. Yeah, they're automating all of these fast food places. I use the term food loosely.
That was actually an article that just came out yesterday about McDonald's.
Yeah.
And they're doing that on a more larger scale now using ChatGPT. And yeah. Just in case your orders were already wrong at McDonald's.
Oh.
Now they're really going to be wrong.
I haven't been to McDonald's in definitely 20 plus years, but I can always remember, like, check your order because it's not going to be right. And it was never right, ever. And that was 20 plus years ago.
Oh, man.
20 plus years ago.
Never.
I can't imagine.
It was never right. Hopefully, at least if they maybe if they put ChatGPT in for manager, they could keep the ice cream machine going, though.
It's a possibility. Do you know what they will give people on UBI? We don't know yet. It's all definitely going to be rations and kibble. It's not going to be of any type of it's not going to be of any type of amount where you could live any type of life that's not just like below the poverty level. Here they have good coffee. That's the rumor, Pete. I will never know. So there you go.
I actually had a friend that worked there, and he said the coffee's really good. But I mean, what's not to like about like really toxic coffee that has like a bunch of artificial flavors and stuff in it? So
don't go to Dallas. Then I have no desire to go to Dallas. And every now and then for work, we always have like conference stuff there, and I hate it. Prep a dog. What's up?
Well, it's always like whenever I go to Dallas or go through Dallas or go near Dallas, it's always white knuckle driving. Like, man,
yeah, all of it. I just like noted there's nothing desirable or attractive about any of that junk. It's terrible. It's disgusting, and it's everything wrong with humanity and art. If you read even the founding fathers, they talk about cities. And if you read about cities in the Bible, man, it's all bad news. The first bad stuff happened in cities. One of the first Cain's descendants started a city. It's all bad, dude. It's Tower of Babel. It's bad.
Common Sense said they found human DNA in the meat at McDonald's. No clown meat for me.
Nice.
Y'all, McDonald's is terrible because I'll tell you the one thing. My buddy used to work there. He no longer works there, but there was a lady. This isn't at all of them, but it was just at his. And it was summertime, and the flies were crazy in there, and they were landing on all the food. And she got the most toxic fly spray and started spraying the flies. And then the toxic fly spray would land on the food.
Yummy.
And he's the manager there being like, hey, you shouldn't do that. She's just like cursing at the flies while spraying them.
Yummy. This
I
is the
was
next
like, wow.
generation
Wow.
taking us into the future. Crazy.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, and Austin is terrible. We are going to Bastrop though, which is just north of Austin. So
All the
it'll be
cities, I
interesting.
mean, they're all terrible.
Bastrop's small though. Don't get mess on your burger.
That'd be pretty bad.
Their ice cream machine is still broken, Prepper Dog says. We got the time traveling Texan on.
There you go.
So do you travel back in time or into the future? Just curious.
If it was me, I wish I could travel back in time.
When would you travel? If you could travel back in time.
I'd probably, I don't know. Probably 1700s.
No, the cities died way before wokeness. Cities have been the bane of society. Yeah. I'm not a city fan. I'm not up for their opium dens or any of that stuff. It's just, yeah, it's everything. It's the concept and philosophy. Everything about a city is broken and unsustainable. Everything about it.
I like small towns though. Like small, like community type towns, but not these like crazy like.
We all travel in time into the
Gigantic
future, real. So I like it. I like it.
cities.
I only eat out twice a year. Wow, is that very planned? Is it specific events that you eat out twice a year,
awesome.
or you've budgeted for twice a year?
You must save like a lot of money, like a whole lot of money.
We went to the rodeo the other night, and we stopped at this kind of pretty cool barbecue place. It was supposed to be like jamming. It was the most ridiculous. So the 8 of us got a chopped brisket sandwich. One sandwich. 8 of us. And it was $100. And that is absurd. Yeah, I do not eat out. I will say this: if a wholesaler takes me out to eat like maybe once a quarter or something like that, I will go get a burger, but it's got to be decent, which isn't saying much.
Do you still have Taco Tuesday at your work?
No.
No.
That lady at that taco truck, she did everything was cooked fresh, but we did that like once or twice.
Oh, okay.
No, brisket ain't cheap.
That's why we raise our own.
That's right.
That's why we got a pit boss and we smoke it. That's stinking good.
Oh, yeah.
Stinking good.
Pit boss is legit, y'all. I'm just saying. Not sponsored. Would like to be.
We actually got it used off Craigslist for like $200. And then when we got home and looked it up, it's like the 500 series. So it's literally the biggest pit boss that they sell. And it's like $1,000 pit boss that we got for $200. And the guy just got done using it after Thanksgiving, and he was selling his place and going up to Montana. And he was like, I don't need it anymore. So we're like, shoot, we'll take it. And it's a really nice one. It holds 6 gallons of pellets in there. So.
Whoa. Secret of Truth said that vegan hot dogs have humanes in them. Well, that's not very vegan.
So how
the pit boss smoker is legit.
How does human meat get in there? Is it because like if you get your hand stuck in the grinder or something? Like how does that even end up in there? Or are they adding it in there?
It's a great flavor enhancer. I don't know. I mean, they're
We
adding
could
it
talk to some
into
cannibals, maybe.
they're adding it into the juicy juice, and they're adding it into Coca-Cola and Pepsi and their flavors. Oh yeah,
What?
aborted fetal tissue. Yeah, that's what they do on these flavor enhancers. It comes from that aborted fetal tissue line. So they put in humine and everything, dude. Yeah, look, y'all, you really need to eat your own food, and you at least need to eat whole food.
I didn't even know
And
that.
oh
That's
yeah, it's crazy,
it's the
man.
first time hearing that. It's the other white meat.
Carlos made it. Carlos, good to have you back, buddy.
Yeah, it's scary what they can hide behind natural flavors. It's
Mark wants to know, if you eat a vegetarian, does that make you a vegetarian? No, that makes you a cannibal.
exactly.
That makes you a cannibal, Mark. So there you go. But if you eat a cow, that makes you a vegetarian because they eat
Exactly.
grass. See?
Exactly.
So I'm more vegetarian than vegetarian.
I let the cows eat the grass for me. There you go.
If you eat sausage, you become a sausage. I like sausage.
We're actually having sausage tonight.
Yeah, we're having cornbread, sausage, and gravy, and it'd
Mm,
be delicioso. And
very
that's
good.
our grass-fed sausage.
You are what you eat. That is very true. That is very true.
Whoa, barbecue sample please. $20. Cain A. Abel, cannibal. Huh. It's interesting. Yep, they pushing the mRNA into foodage, in the veggies. If a vegan eats a vegan, isn't that vegan? Possibility. It's a possibility.
I love
I only eat
bison.
animals that eat vegetables. Now that is a philosophical construct that I can embrace.
I've never. Did we ever have bison burgers before?
I know we've been to places before in the past I know that the Dairy Palace sells bison burgers, but I don't know if I've ever had a
I
bison
don't
burger
think.
yet.
Yeah.
Grow and raise my own. Don't have cows nor a goat for milk, but chickens, rabbit, veggies. I got covered. All right. Good job. Good job. And you can barter and trade and do all that cool stuff and see what your neighbors got going on. Once again, inside the Babylonian concrete jungle, it's kind of difficult to do that kind of stuff. You can't create parallel community, parallel society inside a synthesized concrete jungle because your resources are all brought in. A city is a taker. A city is non-self-sustaining. A city can only extract resources from its surroundings. The entire premise is not only unsustainable, but just artificial and very stupid. And talk about central planning. A city is absolutely all about total and complete control. Why do you think China loves their cities? Why do you think China has been hoarding their agrarian culture into high rises so they can weld the doors shut like they have done in the last 3 years? That's why. Because cities are absolutely all about control. And everybody will have to walk or ride public transit, and face scanners can be everywhere, and you'll need to get approval to do everything. That cities are I mean, come on. If there's more than enough evidence that cities are an absolute, and how they sucker you in, higher pay. Yeah, okay. Go to New York City. I dare you. I dare you to go to New York City. I dare you to make less than $200,000. I defy you to have an automobile in New York City. You would have to pay a minimum of 50 grand a year to park your car. And that's not like your Ferrari, y'all. That's like your Yugo. And everything about cities are disgustingly, deplorably expensive, not sanitary, not natural, not organic, and involve lots of feces and urine, an inordinate amount of people with no desire to work, and lots of crazy people too. But crazies are everywhere. We got crazy neighbors, but there's something about that siren called the city. That's why they have crazy homeless populations too. Not saying the crazy people are down in the country, because they be super crazy, but they got plenty of room to be crazy.
Exactly.
You don't have to know how crazy they are. How will you prevent cross pollination? I don't know, because I mean, we're surrounded by pine, so I mean, I don't see how anything's going to cross pollinate. But not saying that it can't happen, but I understand the premise of the Monsanto seed and the it's all been patented and stuff, but got any snake church? We do have no snake churches anywhere that I'm completely aware of. I'm not aware of any snake churches in Texas, to be honest with you. But
Snake churches?
these Pentecostal snake handlers, and they take that one verse, when Paul got bit and all that stuff, and then they've never read the Bible, but they just talk all like that, and they do sound like that. And I think a lot of those are psyops, y'all. I don't even think most of those are real. I think a lot of them are like, what's the new 60,000, who are the faceless people with like 6 alter egos and signature reduction agents. I think all that stuff is signature reduction. Just like these people that comment on YouTube that are like, we need to take our guns and go get them and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. You didn't think that through, bro. Just saying. That's all. Oh, it's an Appalachian thing. I hope I didn't offend any Appalachians. I like the Appalachian folk. I like the hill people. They opened the border that the next president has no chance. We know we're going to have a Republican in office next. So the Dems are lining up failure for the next POTUS. Well, if they completely, wait a second, I can't even say what happened the last election on the one platform, even though somehow Trump could say it on CNN and they could repeat it on TheTube, right? But the second I say it, I'm going to get some 1984 strike or whatever. But look, the whole left-right paradigm is over. So don't think that it's about the Democrats are trying to make it hard for the Republicans. Look, it's time to wake up, y'all. It's time to put a big boy pants on and your big lady skirts on, right? And just release this foolish notion of like, if voting was only real, I mean, I'm sorry, if we could only vote harder, we could fix this. There's no political solution. The Bloods and the Crips are both in on it, y'all. It's different flavors and types and whatnot, but that gig is up. How about, hey, when a Republican gets in, does the entire FBI, CIA, DOD, does it flip? No. Okay? It doesn't. And those cats have been right where they are forever, and they still there. Dianne Feinstein. That was that 98-year-old mummy with one eye open in her wheelchair. I'm here to tell everybody what to do. Thank you for having me. I still make $300,000 a year. And it's bad enough that she's a woman, but she's like, I can still make decisions. Hey, and if you're a woman, I apologize. I'm not trying to offend women, but like there's so much more important things for women to do than be like goofing around in politics. Besides the fact that politics are fake, y'all. Just saying. Put Jesus on the ballot, yeah.
That'd be a good one. That's a good one.
That would
I like
be.
that.
Then we'll see what happened when they went different presidents. Well, yeah, and what about the whole when you go to the machine and you push the button, right? And then what about that and the paper stuff? And it was all done in front of everybody on cameras. You know what I mean? in front of everybody. And somehow 2024 is going to be, fair or something, right? Somehow that's magically going to change. And just like with the whole partisan thing in 16, right? Or whenever Orange Man got in, oh, that wasn't fair and blah, blah, blah. It's so crazy, dude. I'm just so over it. I'm good. Diane asks, where am I going? We've known that the voting machines they've been, and I mean, how many people need to testify in Congress that all that stuff is hacked and fake and bogus and dangling chads? When you have two Bush and they were both not Freemasons. What's the secret society at Yale or whatever? Skull and Bonesers. You got two Skull and Bonesers duking it out. One conservative and one a demon crap, and they're duking it out. And one wins by a dangling Chad. And it just so happens that his brother, your low energy Jed, is like basically running Florida, and Junior wins by a dangling Chad. Crazy. And people are like, oh yeah, that's real. Cool story, bro. You could at least write a better comic book. All right, you could at least make it interesting and at least make it more realistic, less dystopian. I believe the world's under God's judgment. There's no safe place. People are talking about like, we need to move to the US and go to a more we need to go to a more communist country like Russia, where the KGB run everything, because it's like Eastern Orthodox, and like Putin is this bastion of freedom, and there's all this transparency in Russia. Yeah, where they still persecute Christians heavily persecute Christians. Yeah, under that like bastion of freedom and Christianity, Vladimir Putin. And I'm not saying that, but cut me a break. Think that you're going anywhere that's not under God's wrath and judgment is crazy. Because see, the book says that Christ is coming back, and he's highly upset. Okay. Not with America, with everybody, but we've been murdering babies and people and bombing the world and spraying disease everywhere and like just spreading death for like 100 years. And, and God really wasn't happy with our Civil War, regardless of the revisionist history. So, I mean, come here, break. So yeah, we've been under God's judgment for quite a while. Even when America was great again, whenever that was. Mark's thinking about going to Antarctica. Well, you gotta, you could probably pull something off in Antarctica. You could have definitely avoid the fire and brimstone, probably, or at least when the fire and brimstone fell, it would like melt the ice and give you something to drink that was relatively, relatively probably germ free. Or
Terry, I'm so glad that you love the honey. He said,
thank you.
He got the honey and he loves it.
Who got the honey?
Scroll up. Right there.
Oh, thank you, Terry. We appreciate you, buddy. It's the best. You're the best, Terry. No, you're the best. Did we see the glitch of the king's coronation? Well, exactly. The fact that there was a king's coronation. Look at all that crazy junk. And the people that act like, well, it's just a status symbol and all that stuff. No way, dude.
There was a glitch?
It's the Anglo-American establishment, man. That's CK3, y'all. It's the Anglo. Redacted was talking about that today or yesterday about the crazy coup junk. The junk they're doing in Pakistan right now is identical to what they're doing in America. It's the same playbook. It's the deep state information state playbook. and it's the way that they have regime changes, and they're doing it right now in Pakistan, and it's the same deal, and it's nuts. And it's even crazier how somebody would, well, they're not talking about it or showing it on the news, but it's the exact same playbook. I forget the cricket guy's name that used to be the president of Pakistan that the deep state ousted, but oh, but that whole thing about King Charles, right? He flies around with all his own organic food, and he's really up to speed on like all this. He wants to genetically edit everything, you know. Oh yeah, you can watch Really Graceful's info on CK3. But yeah, he's the Anglo American Imran Khan. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, saw King Chuck walking with the holy hand grenade. I don't know what that is. That's funny.
Was that like AI generated or something?
Please pray for Basil. He's sick in the hospital. Well, we'll pray for Basil. My buddy Mike is a Canary Cry guy. Bible man Mike. He's always hanging out with the Canary Cry guys in Dallas. Oh, that's a Monty Python thing. They used our soldiers in other country. Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. It's the same. What's because what we did there is the same thing we're doing here. It's us. You know, it's just like any kind of nuclear event that would take place. We would never know if it was real or fabricated ever. And there would be no way to prove it. You know, so people always talk about nuclear. And like, yeah, I would be far more suspicious of our information industrial complex doing that to us as a leverage propaganda tactic. Do you worry about, we worry about the things that we can control, and then we leave the rest to God. You know, you can endlessly worry about everything, but I mean, what's the point? We do what we can, and and you know, hey, look, the property taxes in Texas is terrible, but you know what? Terrible. But you know where? And anybody that's thinking about moving here, terrible.
Thousands of dollars. It's worse than California.
Well, yeah, it actually is.
It actually
but anyway,
is. Yeah.
Where we are, it's not. Somehow, by the grace of God.
Yeah.
So. Cold War drill, hide under the desk. You'll be safe. Exactly. So, yeah, I'm worried about it to the extent that when it gets like that, nobody's going to own anything anyway. So up until that happens, I'll have my land, my food, and my trees. You know, it's just like the sky is falling, doomsday prepper guy that moved. I'll give you a real life example, y'all. I'll give you a straight up real life example that we know
There
about.
you go.
So when we first moved to Texas, we met a older feller on some message board, right? He's like, hey, why don't you come out to my place in West Texas and visit and whatnot? And this was way before YouTube or anything. This was like, I don't even know if we'd been in Texas a year or not. And we go out to this guy's place, super awesome guy. He ate organic food, but he chain smoked. He cleaned. Everything was organic, right? And he's like making us dinner, chain smoking a cigarette, like dropping ashes, like while and I'm like, well, I see some like syrupy irony here. This is really weird, but anyway. And so he said, look, if y'all ever want to move out here, I forget how many acres. He had a lot of acres. He had multiple. He had at least 4 or 5 backup generators that were commercial backup generators that are at like large hospital complexes. I mean, these were like a legit. I mean, this guy had a legit infrastructure, like legit infrastructure. Right?
Organic tobacco.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think he was smoking organic tobacco. Anyway, might have been smoking some wacky tobacco. But anyway, so We visited, had a great time, nice guy, um, very conspiratorial, the sky's falling. So this was what, 8, 9, 10 years ago, right? So then it was less than a year later, the whole Ebola scare came out under Obama, right? And a lot of the doom and gloomers are like, this is it. This is the trigger event. And he reached out to me and he said, look, y'all need to come here and we need to lock the gate and we need to shelter in place and stay put and ride this out. You know what I mean? And literally nothing happened. Okay. And I don't know what happened to this poor fella because we kind of lost communication shortly after that. I mean, but that's the problem with like the whole what if deal. And that's why, you know, one, we study and pray and seek God's face, right? And ask for heavenly wisdom from above, not earthly wisdom that is sensual and devilish, right? But we seek the Lord. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And we study and we're aware and we're awake. We are not of the night that it should overtake you like a thief, right? We have eyes to see, we have ears to hear, so we're aware. I cannot get over quote unquote Christians that are caught up in this geopolitical paradigm, just like the same Christians that are caught up in the American flag when the founders said we have no king but Jesus, and our founders would have never pledged allegiance to any flag, and they certainly wouldn't have said a pledge that was written by a card carrying socialist. Okay. They wouldn't have pledged no allegiance to no flag. And the more perfect union for which it stands and all that trash, that the Pledge of Allegiance is the biggest socialist trash, mega mind control garbage. You know, look, and I'm respectful. We go to the rodeo and they do the flag thing. And look, I'm not going to be a Colin Capper dope or anything like that. And I'm not going to be a jerk because I understand I was there. I was there with the flag and crying and all that stuff, and I was all Republican and whatnot. And if it wasn't for those darn Democrats, the world would be perfect, But so I get it. So I'm not hard on people, right? But we got to be real, right? And it's amazing. Do you understand how big our YouTube? If we would toe the line and pull the Mark Dice stuff, right, and be like Trump, and there's some hopium, or if we did the Q and nonsense retardia stuff, do you understand how big our channel would be if we just towed the lines of the talking points of the Republican stuff? Do you know how big our channel would be? Do you know how much honey we would sell? I am dead serious. Do you know how many subscribers wouldn't unsubscribe when I just talk realistically? And because when you're all Republican and whatnot, you can be super Christian and say you need to pray and all that stuff. And that's like acceptable. But as soon as you say, like, well, Orange Man, he's just as much as a swamp creature as the rest of them. Look at his cabinet and Barr and, Bolton and all of them and Pompeo. Dude, could he have like constructed a more swamp thing, whatever, and just the whole paradigm, and then warp speed, come on. And it's tremendous and terrific and warp speed. And did you see this great military dude with a New York accent that's going to come club you on the head and shoot you in the arm and all that stuff? Come on, man. Can't make this stuff up. And the people's memory, short-term TikTok memory, unreal. But like, if we talked all the lines and played the partisan stuff, man, we could have 600, 700,000 subs, right? We could sell so much stuff on our website that there wouldn't be enough hours in the day to fulfill the orders, Yeah, and then Trump supposedly was a Christian with Beth Moore as his woman pastor. 2 Corinthians whole ball game, right? And then simultaneously became a Kabbalistic Jew at the Wailing Wall and did the wall Humpty Dumpty move at the Wailing Wall with Jared Kushner and with all the people that you can't, and put our embassy in Jerusalem. Yeah, that guy at the same time became a Kabbalistic Jew and became a Christian and blah, blah, blah. Talk about somebody that's playing everybody out. And then all these Christians that are like, Trump, if only Trump. Crazy, man. Crazy. That's like, Biden's a good Catholic Christian guy. It's the same thing. Holy macaroni. But, if we talk down the line and pulled the whole Mark Dice thing, Mark Dice knows who's buttering his bread. And that's why he's going to be all pro Tucker and all this stuff and not talk about, and write a book about the Illuminati and all this stuff in the deep state. And then totally forget the fact that Tucker Carlson's dad is a super duper CIA mockingbird puppet. When Mark Dice wrote the book about that, probably in his book. It's crazy. But you know what? It works good on them, tube. Well, just be careful giving praise to the one. I really have a disdain for the notion of the one. Is that Maitreya? Just be careful with the one. And I get really creeped out by all these people that don't like talking about God or the Lord Jesus Christ, right? And they want to like play word games and incantate, right? Make sure you're saying the spell right, because God doesn't understand English, and all these sacred name stuff and all this foolish, like, and have no concept that ancient Hebrew disappeared and evaporated, and Yiddish was a refabrication of the language. And then they want to tell you how the right name to say Jesus, because God doesn't understand Greek or English, even though he wrote his book in Greek, Aramaic, and ancient Hebrew, Koine Greek, Aramaic, and ancient Hebrew, and they get all weird and they get all talking about the one. I reject that translation that uses the one, because that's like Maitreya. That's like the Caesar Borgia hippie Jesus. So. Yes, I agree, Mark. Jesus knows his name in every language. And if thou wilt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in thine heart that God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. And he wrote that, and he's absolutely knows it and understand it. Yeah, Izzy, I'm not beating you up. I'm just, there's a lot of wordsmithery, there's a lot of sophistry, and there's a lot of revisionist history. There's large proponents of people that play Christian games and talk about Christianity, and they leverage it and they praise Yah and they do all this stuff, but they're Babylonian Talmudic Jews and they hate Christ and they mock the Messiah. And they'll tell you that, that Mary was a maiden and she wasn't a virgin and all this stuff. And they'll argue in Hebrew about stuff they know nothing about. And they'll say that the New Testament was a Greco-pagan reconstruction of Hebrew writings and all this stuff. And I'm just, that's why I get I get weirded out by the way, the way people talk. It's because there's so much deception out there. It's troubling. There's so much deception, and there's so many, and look, these people, they're looking for something real. So I don't, I understand what they're trying to do, and so I don't fault them for what they're trying to do, because the bulk of Christianity is so fake. No repentance, no Bible, no truth, and there everybody thinks that they can just long ranger it and all this stuff, and it's just
Hey, Doug is on the stream. We can now ask Doug personally. Doug, we want you to be on the show. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
You want to interview Doug, or
Yes, we want to interview Doug on a video.
what do you want to talk to Doug
I
about?
don't know. We're going to
Okay.
have to find something interesting to talk about. There you go. Yeah, Carlos, I know. I just asked him.
There you go, Carlos. You were supposed to ask him, Carlos. You were supposed to get Doug on the show.
Buckets Doug. Yes, exactly. Fire.
I talked to a lady the other day about the rapture and the second coming of Jesus Christ, and she told me I'm a Catholic and I don't want to have that. Wow, yeah, that's sad. But that's the Catholic religion is just based on is repackaged paganism, and they like to be called Christian. And if you talk to Catholics, if you talk to old school Catholics, they'll tell you, they'll say, I'm not a Christian, I'm a Catholic, because their dogma is repackaged paganism, from Constantine, Augustine, all the way down. It's repackaged paganism, and they literally changed the 10 Commandments and all of it, times and seasons. Yeah, that's why the Pope fits the Antichrist to a T. He did all the stuff. So it's sad. My mom was a dyed-in-the-wool Catholic, but thank the Lord she was saved out of that trash. And look, if you're Catholic, that's not a knock on you, but I pray that your eyes be opened and you see the folly of all that and the Immaculate Conception. How do they know? I failed, but I wasn't going to try. Oh, Carlos, you're terrible. Let's see. Ever Google Earth, the Vatican, and zoom out? I'll have to try that. Look, Restream. Are we going all like pixelated and junky? Because that's what Restream does after an hour. They like choke the bandwidth.
Even though, we paid $600 for this thing, and then after an hour, they kind of they do this like weird.
It gets all
stuff.
pixely.
Weird.
I'll try for Danny though. For Deep
South? Yeah. That'd be cool to have Danny.
Yeah, we'd like to have Danny on.
That'd be really cool.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's pixelating and stuff.
Looks like Minecraft.
Great. What's that, Carlos? No. I've never played Minecraft, but I do know what it is.
Exactly.
All right, y'all. Well, I think our cornbread is done. We've been on for about an hour 22. So
yeah. Hopefully it's not all gone. I'm hoping it's not all gone.
It better not be all gone. It should just be cooling off right about now.
It's been an hour and 20 minutes, so.
All right, shouting at clouds. It's good to hear. No, much worse. Midway Farms, thanks for coming on. And hey, y'all, the Exit and Build Summit. And we're probably going to get to see Doug and Stacy at the Okie Homestead meetup, because I think we are planning on being there. So we're coming to see you, Dougie. All right, buddy? Don't get offended, but he just called y'all blockheads. Who's that?
Oh, I think he was saying about the Minecraft thing. Yeah.
Night, Doug. James is cooking dinner. Oh, blockheads. I get it.
Well, I cooked the pork, and then James cooked the
sausage.
No. Yeah, I cooked the sausage, and then James cooked the cornbread.
Cornbread.
Yeah.
Cleveland, Texas. All right. Texas in the house. Well, we'll see y'all. Y'all have a great night. Yeah. And what's today? Friday. So maybe we'll probably stream. We'll have a couple of videos coming out tomorrow.
Yep.
If Matt edits them.
No, I'm going
before they disappear, like the sawmill video that was going to be super awesome.
Oh, it was.
With super mods on this, but he lost the footage or it got corrupted or something.
No,
but that does happen.
Stupid GoPro.
Yeah, it's true. We only have like 4 cameras and 8 microphones and blah, blah, blah. It's frustrating, but we will not be stopped.
Sausage. Yes, exactly.
All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. We love all y'all.
All right. See y'all later. All right. Bye-bye.